Sorry.
Oh man.
Oh hell no. Wait, no. That's weird. That's weird.
Oh frick! Holy frick! Holy frick!
That is something. I don't know what it is. That is not a person though, because it's in threes.
The ultimate escape into nature can instantly become a terrifying camping encounter. From bizarre objects left silently outside your tent, to sudden gunshots just feet away in the dark. When isolation turns deadly, what would you do to survive? Jimena Flaca is a live streamer and digital creator known for her activity on Kick, where she shares real-life content that captures parts of her everyday routine, social moments, and interactive streams, rather than focusing only on gaming. She has grown an audience of tens of thousands on the platform, and her broadcasts often include real-world outings and direct engagement with viewers. On one specific day, after completing her boxing session, Jimena stopped by a Jamba Juice with a friend for a quick break. But when they got back to the car, something instantly felt wrong. The windshield wipers had been raised, and the mirrors showed clear signs of being disturbed. That was when the situation began to feel unsettling, as they quickly understood this didn't seem random.
It's cold outside. I'm freaking freezing up in here. Oh my god. Guys, what would be the cold version?
It's colder than Yeti Snatch.
What the f is that? That makes no sense. Why is your things up?
It's colder than Yeti Snatch.
What the f is that?
No. Wait, I'm gonna drive off.
That's a way for you.
That's a way for sex trafficking.
That's a way for you to
get out the car and fix that and someone stabbed me under the fucking car.
Oh hell no.
Wait, no. That's weird. That's weird. Nah, that's weird as fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna drive with those up.
Things.
Oh my god, they put up my mirrors too. Wait. That's scary. It's because I can't drive. Without. I don't know if someone's gonna follow my car.
I'm watching. Look, and the
Wait, what's this though? No, why would they only do that so you get out the car and fix it?
Between the parked cars, a shadow can be seen. At the exact moment she pulls away, a man appears standing up.
Oh hell
no. Wait, no. That's weird.
Viewers watching the live stream at the time sensed that something was off, but neither they nor the two girls noticed him in that moment. It was only after the clip spread online that people started pointing out the figure hidden between the vehicles. Some believe this could be part of a method used to create a distraction. By interfering with a car, someone might try to draw a person outside and catch them off guard. You might wonder why nothing happened while both girls were entering the vehicle. And the reason could simply be that one person alone is much easier to target than two together. If only one of them had stepped out to deal with it, things might have gone very differently. Moments like this can shift without warning, where something small turns into something serious before you even realize it. They chose to leave right away, but it makes you think, if they had stepped out for even a moment, would everything have stayed the same? The video Ohms from American Renegade, a US-based van life and nomadic living channel that shares real, unscripted moments on the road, from everyday routines to unexpected encounters in remote places. It is February 23, 2016, in the southwestern United States. At a remote parking area, Alton is parked in a quiet, isolated spot he often uses, settling in for a peaceful evening. Inside the van, everything feels normal. He sits in his usual place, eating soup and replying to comments. The surroundings are calm and still, with no sign that anything unusual is about to unfold.
That place where I normally park, and they seemed to get out. I think it was two people, but they got out of the car. I couldn't see all that. Like I said, they were parked, right on the other side of the van here. And then all of a sudden, I feel the van move, just a tiny little rock. So I figured, okay, well, he got out and maybe stumbled into the van or, something. So then it happened again. The van kind of rocked a little bit, and then all of a sudden it rocked,
making this seem like just another routine night rather than a camping encounter. Then suddenly, The van shifts slightly, just a small movement. Then it happens again. The van rocks a bit more. Looking toward the back of the van, Alton notices something unsettling.
Grab this bad boy here because I didn't, at the time, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if somebody was trying to, or whatever. So yeah, I thought I was gonna have to start cracking some heads, you know?
A shadowy figure appears near the rear storage box where he keeps an expensive generator. The thought that someone might be tampering with the van quickly makes the situation feel serious. For a moment, he considers leaving, but instead stays put, keeping the headlights aimed at the area while carefully watching, ready to move if needed.
And then I happened to look out the window and the car was gone. I was like, oh, well, okay. So I pulled back in the way I was and I backed into the same spot.
Then, just as quickly as it started, the car is gone and the tension fades as the people nearby leave. When he checks the back of the van, Alton discovers what caused the movement. Someone had simply sat on the rear storage box, leaving a slight dent that made the van rock. What first seemed like a possible threat turns out to be harmless, but not without effect. The sudden motion, the shadowy figure, and the uncertainty create a short but intense camping encounter that lingers even after the moment passes. Sometimes a camping encounter only feels dangerous because of what you imagine, but when something moves in the dark, would you really stay calm, or assume the worst right away? He wakes in the middle of the night, steps outside his tent, and finds something that wasn't there before. What comes next is far worse than he expected. On February 19th, 2026, the YouTube channel Exploring with Brad released a video filmed in the forests near Monocliffs in Orangeville, Ontario, Canada. In the video, he ventures alone into a quiet forest to spend the night. The location has a strange reputation, and people in the area have talked for years about a mysterious legend known as the Blue Man. Even when he was a child, he had heard stories about it.
Our own teepee, our own fort. This forest has always given me nightmares as a little kid because of the story about the Blue Man.
Setting the tone for a potentially unsettling camping encounter. Before nightfall, he walks deeper into the forest, searching for a place to camp. As he moves through the area, he notices large animal tracks in the snow, but cannot determine what created them.
It's hard to say at this point. So that's just a person or a snowmobile or sled or something like that. I'm the only car parked here today. Usually I always go to this place with Angelo just because of how scary it is. That's for darn sure. Alright, I'm gonna actually take a look. Yeah, so park boundary, you can't go down that way. Let's go down here. I actually wanted to build my fort down here today and see what we got. Betty was freaking out. She's like, you better be careful. She knows this place too. She's just like, doesn't want me here. There's that, but that's not. Needs something that's kind of big. That's an overhang there.
A little later, he finds another unusual set of tracks arranged in groups of 3, clearly different from normal human footprints.
We'll see. We'll do a little bit of exploring. Let's go down here for a little ways. They've cleared us a path, it looks like it. Okay, that's a person, I think. It's going down that way. I don't know what people are doing down here. Tracks. Yeah, those are fresh. I don't know if somebody else is here or what's going on, guys. I know people live out here. Like, there are houses that are nearby this thing. Over here, it looks like there could be a lot of firewood and stuff. I don't know. Literally, I could use a lot of different spots I'm seeing right now, but I'm kind of just wanting to investigate for now. The last time we were here, me and Angelo, we set up a tent down here. All these fresh tracks must have been made earlier today. There's people playing and farting around. Sign here. Okay, that's a break. I don't know.
All of the tracks appear fresh, suggesting they were made earlier that same day. Suddenly, he hears a strange noise in the trees, as if something is moving quickly nearby.
What the hell was that? Sounds like some sort of animal. Like a bird or something of some kind. It sounds creepy though. Came out this way. I messaged a few friends of where I was going today, and they were saying just because of how dangerous this place can be, especially at night. So, and it's quiet. I don't know what this is. Look, it's like threes. That is something. I don't know what it is. That is not a person though, because it's in threes. I brought my coyote mace just in case, but it's highly unlikely we're gonna bump into one of them. So the worst part about animals like that though is that they're freaking nocturnal, so they can see you. Like, they don't need the light, so if they take your light away, being alone here though has to be terrifying, especially with the story that I'm about to tell you guys. Like, it is eerie.
The forest falls quiet again, but more tracks appear in the snow, still unidentifiable. Being alone in this place feels unsettling.
You know what I mean? That's what scares me. Out in places like this is like, I really don't know what's out here.
Especially with the story he is about to share. Even while setting up his shelter, he continues to hear movement around him, and he admits that being alone in this forest feels uncomfortable, especially with the old legends connected to the area. Later that night, he sits near the fire and recounts the local story of the Blue Man, a strange figure said to have appeared in these woods long ago. According to the legend, people who followed strange lights or whispers in the forest sometimes disappeared.
So this is about the phenomena that happens in these woods, okay guys? I forgot to even mention it to you guys. So this is called the Blue Man. So it started as a local legend, nothing more, then a whispered tale in the small town of Mono. They called him the Blue Man. The story goes that in the late 1800s, a traveling showman came to the town. He was an odd-looking man, his skin a pale, unnatural blue, and his eyes, well, they were darker than night itself. He carried with him a strange shimmering lantern, which he claimed was a gift from a distant land. He promised to show wonders the townsfolk had never seen, strange illusions that would make their hearts race and their minds reel.
After finishing the story, the forest becomes very quiet again. He suddenly pauses, thinking he hears someone walking somewhere in the darkness nearby. Not long after, he falls asleep, but something disturbing happens around 3:42 in the morning. He suddenly wakes up after hearing a sound outside his tent, as if something is moving right beside it.
Sorry, I thought I heard walking. Back down that way, I heard like...
When he looks outside, he discovers small wooden objects placed near the tent, shaped like strange little eggs.
What is this? Okay, so I just woke up. It's about 3.
The discovery makes him uneasy, and he decides he cannot stay there any longer, pushing this camping encounter into something far more serious. As he begins to leave the area, he hears something else. A person yelling for help somewhere in the forest.
What was that? I can't stay here. There's something out there. We better go. I better go. I can't stay here. That was creepy. Alright, I'm gonna pack my things and we're gonna go. Alright, so we're gonna get out of here. First I might do an explore the other side. We haven't checked it out yet, so...
Concerned, he follows the sound toward nearby cliffs. Along the way, he finds a hat lying on the ground, making him believe someone might actually be in danger.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what's going on. I could hear somebody screaming help. Sounded like some guy. Let's go. Let's go check it out. Oh man.
Then the situation becomes even more unusual when he finds a pair of handcuffs lying on the ground.
Yo, it's a hat.
Oh man. Oh man.
Dude, I'm gonna help you. Just hold on. I just found his hat.
Deepening the mystery of this camping encounter, As he moves closer to the cliffs, he suddenly sees or hears something that frightens him badly. Whatever it is causes him to panic and run away from the area immediately.
Oh, freak! Holy freak! Holy freak! Holy freak! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Oh, freak! What the? Oh man! What the hell was that? What the hell was that? Oh, freak sakes! Oh man! Oh man! Oh man! Oh, freak sakes! What was that? Oh man! If it comes after me, I don't know if I can run anymore. Too much. Too much. Oh, somebody handcuff him? Looked like he was able to get out though. I feel bad. I can't stay here though. I can't do it. Okay. Let's go, Brad. Let's go back.
Even without a clear explanation, the night leaves him with one unsettling thought. Maybe the old stories about this forest are not just stories after all. Sometimes a camping encounter doesn't give clear answers. But if you heard a voice calling for help in the dark, would you follow it or leave before it's too late? The next unsettling video comes from Expedite Travels, a North American van life and expediting channel that captures solo journeys, freight runs, and real moments on the road. It is October 9th, 2020, in South Memphis RV Park and Arc Trail, Mississippi, United States. The vlogger starts exploring a trail near a lake, passing benches and a pavilion along the way. The area is open, quiet, and noticeably empty. He observes the calm surroundings, mentioning that the trail is monitored but remains accessible at all times. As he continues walking, the peaceful setting creates a steady atmosphere, one that feels relaxed but slightly off due to the complete absence of other people.
Alright guys, I just had something freaky ass crap happen to me, and I am not lying. This is not a joke. I know I messed around before about the Bigfoot thing. I was walking and I seen, I don't even know how to explain it, man. It was like a red, it almost looked like somebody wearing like a red jacket, or you know what I mean, like a jacket, like it was far off in the distance.
Then the environment shifts almost instantly. The woods fall into an unnatural silence. Bird sounds fade and the usual background noise disappears, replaced by faint rustling that cannot be clearly traced.
It was something, I missed something, maybe it was a tag or something on a tree, or somebody put some kind of marker or something up, and I couldn't see nothing. It was gone when I came back. It's like dead quiet here. That's not good. Usually there's like flies around me, but usually there's birds chirping close by. It's like...
He returns to check the same spot, but whatever he thought he saw is gone, turning the moment into a subtle but growing camping encounter. Soon after, more movement is heard behind him. Subtle shifts in the brush and irregular sounds keep him alert. Birds return briefly at times, but their inconsistency only adds to the uncertainty.
Like a loud, almost like whistle or screech or something. It was freaking weird, man. I don't know, like the hair on the back of my neck is standing up, like somebody, I feel like somebody's watching me. It's dead quiet in here now, and it was when I first came in, you could hear birds, and this is near the exit. It's about, I don't know. So there's...
The forest then becomes completely quiet again, with almost no natural sound remaining. Suddenly, a sharp, high-pitched whistle or screech cuts through the silence. The sound echoes across the trail, making it feel like something is close by. With limited visibility and no clear explanation, the moment becomes the peak of the encounter. What begins as a calm walk along a quiet trail quickly turns into something far more disturbing. Even though no clear source is ever found, the sequence of events creates a strong sense of unease that lingers. A camping encounter doesn't always show itself clearly, but when the forest suddenly goes silent and something calls out from the distance, would you trust what you heard, or pretend it was nothing and keep walking? The video comes from Rick in his van, a UK-based van life and camping channel focused on simple overnight park-ups, rural stopovers, and road trips, often exploring places connected to local history and haunted reputations. It is January 14th, 2024, in Hartley Maudy, Hampshire, England, United Kingdom. Rick arrives at Hartley Maudy, a location known for both its history and its reputation as one of Hampshire's most haunted villages, setting the stage for a quiet but uneasy camping encounter. He explains that most of the original village and manor house have disappeared, leaving St. Leonard's Church as the only major structure still standing. Local stories mention hidden cellar remains, underground passages, ghostly coach sightings, and even reports of music coming from the church at night.
I mean, it's pitch black. I'll show you. Right, look that up. Remember what happened the last gate that we had? Okay, it looks slightly different at night. You see those?
Once night falls, Rick leaves the van and walks around St. Leonard's Church with a torch. The churchyard feels noticeably different in the dark, with stained glass windows glowing faintly and gravestones fading into the shadows. He moves carefully, listening for anything unusual, but most of the unease comes from the isolation, the limited visibility, and the history tied to the location.
Shit. Sorry. I didn't mean to swear then. It's got to be an owl that's in the trees. It's got to be an owl that's in the trees. There you go.
A sudden loud noise breaks the silence, immediately startling him. He assumes it may have been an owl, but the source remains unseen. As he heads back toward the van, rustling sounds follow him through the trees, growing louder as he walks. When he shines his torch into the darkness, 3 small points of light reflect back at him. He considers they could be animalized, but never confirms it.
I make some dinner in the van. Hang on. Got a slight issue. I was going to make some dinner in the back of the van, and then there was a guy pulled up in a Defender and said to me that I can't stay here. When I asked why, his words to me were, "This is the fishing club's car park and he can't stay here tonight, mate, can you go?" I'm going to be gone first thing, and he refused to let me stay and said that I'll be blocked in. Well, there we go. The bloody light's fallen down. So, change of plan. I'm going to have to try and find somewhere else to sleep. So currently, driving down through the... I'm going to have to try and find somewhere else to park up and get me dinner. So I'll be back with you momentarily, as they say. Because I mean, it's like 10 o'clock at night. Do you know what I mean? You let me stay there, but alright, I guess, you know, if it's your land, it's your land. Then you don't want me staying there, that's fine.
The most direct moment of the night happens unexpectedly, just as Rick prepares to settle in. A man arrives and informs him that he cannot stay, explaining that the area is a fishing club car park and that there is a risk of being blocked in. Rick decides to leave and continues driving through the countryside late at night, searching for another place to park. The night at Hartley Maudet does not produce any clear paranormal evidence, but the setting creates a strong sense of unease. The darkness around the church, the unexplained noises, and the distant lights in the trees all contribute to a tense atmosphere. However, the most disruptive moment comes not from the location itself, but from being forced to leave unexpectedly. After relocating, Rick finds a quieter and more suitable place to stay. Sometimes it's the atmosphere, the sounds, and the unknown that make it feel real. If you were there that night, would you stay longer or leave before things got worse? The following disturbing video is from Jamie Does Wild Bikepacking, a UK outdoor adventure channel centered on solo bikepacking, wild camping, and overnight journeys. It is March 11th, 2026 in Norfolk, England, United Kingdom. Jamie travels through rural Norfolk, looking for a quiet and permitted place to stay for the night. His first intended location near a scenic viewpoint is rejected due to restrictions on overnight parking, forcing him to adjust his plan and move toward a more isolated area near Peters Way, surrounded by woodland.
I don't know what the hell's going on tonight. I can hear all sorts of weird singing going on in those woods.
While outside the van, something unusual interrupts the silence. Soft singing or chanting can be heard coming from the nearby woods. At first, Jamie responds casually, but the sound feels out of place in such a remote setting.
Goodness going on under there. That's what we talk about tonight. Bugger that.
Curiosity briefly takes over as he thinks about entering the woods to find the source, but he hesitates, unsure if it's safe. As he steps away from the van, The isolation and atmosphere quickly shift his mindset, leading him to abandon the idea and return to the safety of his vehicle.
Just got out of the van to have a piss. What the fuck is that? There's a light in the bloody woods now. I'll tell you what, fuck this.
What begins as a normal solo camping trip slowly turns into an unsettling camping encounter. In the end, Jamie chooses caution over curiosity, staying inside his van and avoiding further risk. The night ends without answers, but with the strong impression that the woods were not as empty as they first appeared. Sometimes a camping encounter doesn't show itself directly. It just makes you feel like something is there. If you were in that situation, would you stay inside or step into the dark to find out? Carson Schmidt is a young man who enjoys adventure. He regularly goes snowboarding, hiking, and skiing, sharing everything on his social media. On February 25th, 2026, he uploaded a video that was especially unsettling and showed how much being in the right place at the right time can matter. He was skiing with a friend, and after coming down a slope, he said that for no clear reason, they suddenly stopped. That's when they noticed something unusual.
That's deep. Dude, I just fucking sank. Hey, they good?
Oh shit. Hey.
Hey, stop.
Shit.
We got. Oh. You okay?
Yeah.
Oh. You okay?
Hold up for a second. Oh. Can you get his skis off, dude?
Oh.
You okay?
Holy fuck.
Can you get his skis off, Carson?
Yeah.
They quickly rushed over to help when all they could see were the tips of a man's skis sticking out of the snow. No one knows how long he had been trapped, but it was clear he wouldn't have lasted much longer. Apparently, he had simply fallen into a deep section of snow, a reminder that it doesn't take an avalanche to become buried. The man was incredibly lucky that Carson and his friends stopped when they did. It almost felt like something caused them to pause at exactly the right moment to save him. This case shows how quickly outdoor situations can shift into something dangerous without warning. The threat isn't always obvious at first, and small moments like stopping or paying attention can make the difference between safety and disaster. If they hadn't stopped right there, would anyone have found him in time? The disturbing camping encounter of the night comes from Travel Light Adventures, a US-based travel and adventure channel featuring immersive van life, off-grid camping, and road trips through scenic locations. It is March 17th, 2026 in Santa Fe, New Mexico, United States, across the southwestern US. After settling in at the campsite, the setting appears peaceful and quiet. However, events during the night would make him reconsider ever staying there again.
Across the southwestern U.S. and I'm waking up here at my campsite. I just can't get over how beautiful it is. There were some things that happened last night from ever staying here again. Was that it's an unofficial gun range of sorts, but people said the firing usually happens way out there and around the corner. And when I got here, that's exactly what was going on. So I thought. After winding down for the night, I crawled into my tent, and then that's when things begun. At about 2:30 in the morning.
Before arriving, he had read that the area functioned as an unofficial gun range, but reports suggested the shooting usually happened farther away and out of sight. When he arrived, that seemed to be the case, with no gunfire nearby and everything feeling normal, at least at first. After getting ready for the night, he went into his tent, and that's when everything began. In the early hours of the morning, the situation shifts instantly. Around 2 a.m., multiple gunshots are fired into the ground just feet from his tent. Shortly after, a vehicle rushes past the campsite. The sudden noise and close proximity wake him immediately.
But about 20 minutes later, they came back and did the same exact thing. So I honked the horn on my car with my key fob, and they got out of here real fast. On the outside chance that the collective goal of those people was to tell me that I'm not welcome to camp here, congratulations. I will never, ever camp in this spot again. We're ready to roll. God, it is a shame that the experience here was so terrible, because this is just beautiful. Minus the power lines. It's just gorgeous.
By morning, everything is packed up and ready to go. After leaving, he relocates to a safer area and continues his trip later, exploring Santa Fe and nearby attractions. While free camping offers freedom and beautiful views, it also comes with unpredictable risks that demand constant awareness. Sometimes nothing is confirmed, but the situation still feels wrong. And if those vehicles had stayed longer, would the outcome have been the same? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.